Happy Thursday, 5th graders! Let's look at our animal idioms. Cat got your tongue? This is used to refer to a time when someone has nothing to say. A situation in which someone is finding it hard to say anything in their defense. An eager beaver is a person who is willing to work very hard. A fish out of water is a person who feels awkward or unhappy because they are in a situation that is not familiar or because they are different from the people around them. Today's animal idiom is stir up the hornet's nest. Stir up the hornet's nest. Here are hornets. Might be hard to tell, but here's their nest. So if you were to mess with this and like touch it or try to make it come down from wherever it is, perhaps on a tree, or sometimes they're on what's called an eave, which is like the edge of a house, like where the roof is. They like to attach their nest there, and if you were to try to break it down or make it come down, it might make the hornets angry and they will attack. And so it's not a good situation if you come across a hornet's nest. So to stir up a hornet's nest, figuratively, means to create trouble, to cause an uproar, to cause an upheaval, which also means a problem. A commotion which possibly ends in anger and frustration. So this is when there's a problem created to cause some type of problem or trouble, an uproar, an upheaval, when there is a lot going on. So the sentence is, Stargirl helping Kovac, the star player of the other team, stirred up a hornet's nest. Everyone was outraged. So you might recall when Stargirl runs over to the basketball court and helps the star player, she comforts him. He has her head in her lap. You know, her team, her school is enraged. They're like, what is going on? Why is she doing that? They have their own cheerleaders and he has his own team and his own people. So she really stirred up the hornet's nest when she did that. So let's say another example could be your little sibling comes home and stirs up a hornet's nest, causing all kinds of trouble and upheaval. Maybe they're throwing a tantrum or something. So your parent comforts them by giving them a cookie or has them watch TV or something to calm them down. So to stir up a hornet's nest is to create a lot of trouble. We're working on the prefix semi, which means half, or when something is partial, like partially or slightly done, or has partial or a slight quality of whatever the word that comes after semi is. Okay, so first we have semifinal, which is the competition that's right before the final. So then the semifinal leads to two teams playing for the championship. A semicircle is a half circle, and semi-sweet means half sweet, or semi-sweet chocolate is only slightly sweet and has a darker color than milk chocolate, and it's just, it's slightly sweet. It's just a little bit sweet. Yesterday I gave an example too, like semi-sleepy, meaning you're partially sleepy, or if you're just semi-paying attention in class, you're just partially paying attention in class, you're not fully doing it. Semi-conscious. What does this mean? Sometimes in Zoom, students are semi-conscious and need to wake up. What does semi-conscious mean? Well, conscious means that you are noticing or realizing something, or that you're awake and able to understand what is happening. So let's say you're asleep. When you wake up, you're conscious now. Or it could be that you're just aware of what's going on. So then if you're semi-conscious, that means you are only halfway or partially conscious, or slightly awake and aware. So let's say you're just waking up, you're logging on a Zoom, kind of late, maybe you're just semi-conscious. We could say that Stargirl is really not conscious of how the students have been shunning her. She's really not aware. She really doesn't care about what others think of her, I think. But now she's semi-conscious about it because Leo told her that something has to change because the students don't like her at all. Now we're working on Greek root astra, which means star. Astronomy is a scientific study of the stars and planets. An astronomer is a scientist who studies stars and planets. Astrology is a study of the positions and movements of the stars and how they influence people and events. Astronomical means when something is high in cost or in price. It's really high in cost and price. So today we have the word asterisk. Sometimes people pronounce this word incorrectly and they say asterisk, but it's not pronounced that way because we can see here, asterisk. There's an S here. This is a mark like a star, so it's very close to a star, used especially to show something interesting or important. So it's used a lot in terms of writing or let's say in a document. Let's say there's an asterisk in a document. It's pointing out something important or interesting about that word or that section. So if you want to bring attention to something, you might include an asterisk. Here's an example. In a book, an author will use an asterisk next to a word that's important. Then read at the bottom of the page and find the asterisk again to see what the author says about that word. So sometimes the author doesn't want to interrupt the reading to talk about that word or phrase or situation. So they write a little asterisk. Then you go to the very bottom of the page, look for the asterisk again, and it'll give more information. Sometimes it'll give the definition of the word, maybe the word's in another language, and it'll say what it is in English. Maybe it'll give more information, like let's say a story from history about whatever it's referring to. So it's like extra information or important information, but as to not disrupt the flow of the reading, it'll be included at the bottom so that the reader can read it later on for reference. Okay, fifth graders, so that's what we're working on, and we're continuing to work on similes and metaphors and thinking about what exactly is being compared. Awesome job, fifth graders.